Hello, guys, and welcome back to the Live Strong podcast. We are at our very last episode of 2024. Can you believe that the year is literally about to end in a few days? It's insane. This year has absolutely flown. And of course, Merry Christmas, because Christmas has been and gone. Now, I've still got all my Christmas decorations up around the house, but I've already pulled them down at the gym because I was like, we've had it, we're over it. And to be honest, the gym tree was actually a bit revolting. It was very sad. It needed a bit more love and care, but next year's a new year and it'll get a bit more love next year. But my tree at home is beautiful. It is top tier, so we can look at her for a little bit longer, you know. Actually, I don't know when is the acceptable time to take down your Christmas decorations. Like, should they be down before the new year, or do we sort of give them a bit of time to shine? Anyway, you can see the candy canes are still out and about, but that's not what I'm here to talk about today. We're here to do a little bit of a recap of the year that has been or is about to have been, 2024, everything that's happened this year, and sort of wrap it up in a little nice and neat little bow before we kick off 2025, which is going to be the best year because I'm getting married. Yay, yay, yay. Literally every girl's dream is to get married. Or maybe not a dream, but I think it's just something every girl thinks about their whole life. And I'm about to do the damn thing, which is crazy. Like, so soon. I think we've got like 13 weeks now. So we're in the 13th week. So then we're going to get into the 12th week soon. Like, it's just a happening time to be alive. So crazy shit, but 2025 is going to be a slay. And I'm thinking my next week's episode, which will be the first one of the year, we might do setting some good intentions for the year, a little bit talk about New Year's resolutions and that sort of vibe. So it'll be like semi-educational, semi just Olivia raving on. So if you want to listen up next week, that's what you're going to be in for. But today, we're going to talk about the year that's been and what sort of happened. I was actually, because I'm still new to this whole podcasting world, I sort of do a bit of research, not much. Like I said, I don't actually put much effort into these podcasts. They're meant to be something that's like a bit of fun. But I do a bit of research. It's like what to sort of put in a yearly recap video. And then they're talking about all these like highlights of the year or like news that's happened this year. And I was thinking, I don't even know what bloody news has happened this year. I can't even remember what happened yesterday. So when I sat down and tried to revisit everything that happened in my year, sometimes you just forget what's happened, So I've tried to do a little bit of a recap for us, and I've sort of picked out my top 10 things that's happened this year. But first of all, let's start with Christmas, because Christmas has been and it's gone, like I said. So how was your Christmas, guys? Hopefully you had a lovely day, whatever the hell you were doing. I've learned a few lessons this Christmas, okay? So I feel like I used to be the person who was really, really, really excited for Christmas. I've always loved Christmas. I think I love giving presents ever since I sort of finished school. Like when I first finished school and I was doing studies and stuff, but I worked full time in a cafe that was in Westfield, Katara. So I was in the centre like throughout the Christmas period. And before that also I was working with mum at house where she works. So I had been like in the retail atmosphere, moral of my story. So for like months before Christmas, I would go get my presents. I'd be looking around at all the things. I'd be trying to, get organized, and I'd be thinking about it all the time. But as I've sort of like got out of that world, I've become less excited about it. And I guess my Christmas sparkle has dimmed a little bit, which is sad, but also I think it's sort of part of growing up, right? So my few little lessons that I learned this year is that some people work so bloody hard over Christmas time. Like I said, I've been in the retail world for a lot of my teenager years, but also my mum's worked in retail my whole life, and she works so hard at this time of year, like early mornings, late nights, which I know everyone works hard, but like they get talked to like shit, they get ran off their feet. People are just assholes in the shops at Christmas. Like my hat goes off to them. But then also you've got all the other like services, like the people who deliver your packages. Like I've been getting packages at like 6 a.m. on Sunday. Like these people are up and at it, working bloody hard in December. Not to mention all the people who would be in like the factories this year, like putting all those packages together. Then you've got all of like our healthcare and emergency services. I have a lot of friends who are registered nurses, and like those girls and guys work so hard at this time of the year. Like the hospital is understaffed on the public holidays and stuff like that. And like people are like, you know, sadly, people are still dying, people are still really sick. And like people have to be there to be like 100% switched on, doing their very best, or trying to make the best of a bad situation. So my hat goes off to people who work really hard over this Christmas time, because honestly, the world, like we think the world shuts down, but the world, for some people, the world is just like drastically spinning. So hat goes off to those. I think also as I've got older, I've realized how many people have pretty shitty family situations, and I've always been lucky to have a really beautiful family. And you know, every family has their dramas, but we've always got together, and you know, my family, we're very lucky to all love each other and love spending time together. So I haven't really experienced much of that, but you know, obviously working with a lot of people in the gym, I hear about so many different family dynamics, positive, negative, quirky, all the different in-betweens. But I think I've become very grateful for my own family, and also like people who are missing loved ones, or Christmas, which is a really hard time. This year we lost my nan in February, which was a really hard time for my whole family, my mum, my sister, myself, my dad, everyone. She was like a very, 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 very close person in my life. So this was our first Christmas without her. So that was definitely like a very, something we really needed to adjust to. And I think everyone sort of handles it in their own way. But like that was our first big instance of that, which was different, you know, but like people go through this all the time, and you know, going through these celebrations. But I think this year, I think because I was experiencing that, my empathy for people experiencing that was a lot more. And unfortunately, like a lot of people I know were experiencing their first Christmas without a loved one, and you see everyone talking about like how it being such a merry and beautiful time. You see Instagram photos, everyone living their best life and doing all these things, but for a lot of people it's quite a sad day. So I think my whole Christmas personality has slightly adjusted. I do think I could get a bit more va-va-voom about my Christmas spirit next year. This year, I think everyone's lives were just hectic this year in my family. Like everyone moving houses, everyone getting ready for the wedding. Like I said, my nan passed away. Nate's sister had her baby, our baby nephew William. So they were in Bowral. So like Nate's parents had to travel for Christmas. Like there was just lots of moving parts that made our Christmas very hectic this year, where I feel like next year I'm going to try and make it cool, calm and collected, and really make it a day of celebrating each other. You know, I think that's my reflection of Christmas this year. In saying that, we all had a fun day and it was super chill, which was really nice. But I just think Christmas has a different like ring to it when you get older, and sometimes you need to sit back and reflect, I guess, on what you're grateful for, and maybe what you've been sort of like ignorant to. I guess that's how I sort of feel about the whole situation. But that's my little wrap up of Christmas, because I feel like we needed to lay down the rules and that. But anyway, let's get on to 2024. So I made a list of my top 10 moments of the year, which is always hard to like smush into one. Like I said, I can never really remember what I've done in the year, but I made like a little recap video, as everyone does, you know. I can't even remember what it says at the beginning, but you know the one everyone says like 2024 comes to an end, or whatever it says. So I made that, and that helped me reflect. But my first one, they're not in any order either. It was just like as they came to my brain. My first, one of my top 10 moments of the year was definitely rebranding the gym. I feel like I've talked about this heaps on the podcast, but for some people, probably not a big deal. They probably don't care too much. For me, really, really, really big deal. We went from something that was like very safe, it was very comfortable, to sort of taking this next step, and that we're still in the process of transforming into Live Strong, I would say. We're doing some renovations at the gym, which have unfortunately taken longer than I would have liked to have started. Like, they've been in the works for bloody months now, so I feel like I've been talking about it for ages to everyone, but I feel like it's one of those things that when it's out of your control, you can't stress about it, even though I'm a perfectionist and I'm a stressor, and I would have loved to have rebranded the gym and all the renovations to be done in like a week. But that's not the case. They are getting done in a few weeks. Like, we have a date, it's in the calendar, so that's really good. But I do feel like we're still in that process. So I feel like by mid this year, I'll have the gym at a place where I feel like we've sort of taken the next step, where we're still sort of in the little, like, we're just running on the treadmill trying to take the next step at the moment, and then we're about to leap and bound into her. But becoming Live Strong has been a huge deal, and I think, I've had the business for, I think it's 7 years going on 8 years, which is a long bloody time. Like, a long time for a girl who had no idea what she was doing. So that was my first one, and probably my number one thing of the year. That was huge when so much work bloody went into it on the back end and everyone helping and all the things. So that was really good. Second thing is that we started a run club at the gym, which was something a bit out of our comfort zone. Again, trying to always improve the gym space, but we do a Friday run club every week for our members. It's sort of come and do what you will. Our gym at Live Strong really has a community full of all different people, all different ages, abilities, walks of life, like people who have come from different backgrounds of training and stuff. And I would say we generally bring in people who have never really trained seriously before in their life. Maybe they've done some training on and off, or they've tried stuff and then they've really stuck to it. But we more cater or attract, I more should say, a lot of people who are wanting to learn, which I love. Like, I actually love teaching people. As I've said on this podcast before, if I wasn't a PT, I think I'd become a teacher, just because I actually love the process of teaching people, not just coaching people or not just, training people, actually teaching people how to train properly. So bringing this run club was something also new, introducing the people who don't run. They hate running. It was like something that was in the too hard basket. So being able to do this has been really fun. And a lot of the team at the gym have started running this year because of the run club. And look, I'm not the biggest runner in the world. I don't love running the most in the world, but I do think it's important to be a functional human. And I do think it's important to be able to do a bit of everything to some degree. Obviously, if you're like an elite athlete and you're a specific sport or a really specific goal, yes, you have to be specific around that thing. But I do think that generally, as a normal, quote unquote, normal human, it's good to have a bit of everything happening to some degree. You can't be amazing in everything, but is it good to be healthy and fit? Yes, it is. So after the raving on there, we started the run club. In the same dot point, we took a team, I think there was like 20 of us, that went to Sydney to run City to Surf, which was honestly one of my proudest moments of being a trainer ever. We achieved physical transformations, we achieved mental transformations, we achieved lots of things in the gym. There's small wins, big wins, but I do think that nearly every single person who did the City to Surf did not believe that they could actually do the City to Surf when they signed up. Like, I don't think they believed that they would run 14 kilometers up that bloody hill without stopping. I think a lot of people took on the challenge, and, a lot of people in the back of their head were like, oh, I can always just walk it, or, do whatever I need to do, or not go, or whatever. But everyone went and ran like absolute weapons. Like, everyone had a good run. We all bloody died. Like, don't get me wrong, and it was so hot. But we had 3 run sessions a week. Like, we trained bloody hard for the thing. We were doing hill sprints. We were doing long runs on a Sunday morning. Like, everyone was dedicating their Sundays to it. And yeah, I was just so proud of everyone. We all went down on a bus together, which was super cute. That was a really big proud moment for me as a trainer. So that was 2, the run club and City to Surf, all in together. Third one is 2 of our best friends got married this year, Elle and Blake. So they got married in March this year. So this was feels like forever ago, to be honest. But the first part of the year was definitely all excitement about the wedding. Both Nathan and I were in the wedding party, which was super fun. So we had their hens and buck shows where we went away like separately, but super fun. And then we went away for their wedding, and I feel like it was just such a party of love because all of our friends were there. The wedding was literally like something you would watch in a movie. It was spectacular. And yeah, it was just such a fun weekend that I feel like will go down as one of the top weekends of the year. So that was a big one. And then sort of tying in with that, sort of not, number 4 is that this year was the year of us planning our wedding. So even though our wedding isn't this year, we've had to obviously plan the wedding this year. So I feel like I will remember this year as a year where probably I was quite stressed for multiple reasons, but also I feel like it was a very, like I had what's it called, you feed in lots of ponds or whatever the saying is, like I was dipping in lots of pools, because I was like, obviously the rebrand was happening. We were still like, just the gym was running as like normal. Obviously my nan passed away, like I said earlier in this, and I was also trying to plan a bloody wedding. So like all these things were happening. I was like, what's happening? But the wedding planning has been really fun. Like I said, it's been a bit stressful. I'm always stuck in this world of like, Olivia, don't do it. You don't need that. It's ridiculous. It's stupid. And you only get married once. And then you only get married once generally wins the race. So there's lots of things at the wedding that I probably didn't need, but I definitely wanted. So they're happening. So yeah, it's been fun. I wouldn't say it's been the funnest. I don't know. It's a weird one. I don't know, but I just don't know if it is fun. Like, does anyone find it really fun? Because I think I'm really indecisive. Like, I feel like there's lots of pressure on the day. I feel like if I could get married 3 times, by the 3rd one, I'd have heaps of fun planning it because I would have like learnt some lessons and, you know, I'm all about, you know, doing it right. So it's hard to do it right when you've never done it before. So, but it's been the year of planning the wedding, moral of the story, because the wedding is now literally planned. There's pretty much nothing else for me to do decision wise or like booking wise. It's just sort of like final tying of the knots of things, you know. Number 5, me and Nath went to Bali, which was actually a surprise. We weren't going to go on an overseas trip this year because we were saving money, but then Nath surprised me with flights to Bali for my birthday, which was really nice actually because, like I said, it's been a bit of a stressful year. I've had lots going on. So it was nice to have, we just had a week away. We stayed in Canggu. We stayed in a villa, which we hadn't stayed in a villa before. We've stayed in resort vibes when we've gone to Bali. The villa was great. We didn't get Bali belly, and I was a bit scared because I like to sort of live the high life. If you don't get that vibe already off me, but like in Bali, I stress that I'm going to get sick. Like I would prefer to pay more money and eat at a high class restaurant and know that I'm getting good quality food by a chef. Like, I don't know. But I also know in Bali you can get sick by any single one thing of food and no matter where you get the food from. So like, I understand all that, but that's something that scares me at Bali. I'm like, oh, I'd rather be in Japan because, you know, I'm generally safer there and we love Japan. But so I was threatening about the Bali belly. Didn't get Bali belly. I did go to a lot of places that like had like reputable names or like I know people have been there before, so I wasn't sort of like going too adventurous, but we had such a nice week. We literally did nothing. We laid by the pool, we did a bit of shopping, we ate, we drank, like it was just so chill. So that was fun. Then a few weeks ago we went to Brisbane for the golf, which was also a fun trip. This is number 6. So that was a fun weekend. We went with Nate's parents. Again, it was super chill. I get on really well with Nate's parents. It's like going away with friends, much like my parents. We all get on really well. They're always down for a good time. We're all so chill. No one really annoys each other. I'm probably annoying to everyone, but like, that's me. Nah, I don't think I am. Maybe I am. I don't know. Anyway, no one tells me I'm annoying except Nathan and Emma. That's fine. So yeah, we went to the golf where it's a PGA event. So it's like a big event. I don't know what it's called, the event, but anyway, you watch like the pros playing stuff. We go to a party hole, so it's just like unlimited drinks and food, and you just literally get on the piss, to be honest, watch people play golf, and everyone's like rowdy. There's a DJ, and then you can also walk around and actually watch some of the guys play golf, which we did a few times. I did with Nath. But like, to be honest, I don't really care too much. I was more there for the vibes. Fun weekend though, so big winner. Number 7, which like rebranding the gym was up there. This like would have to be number 2, but like honestly, top 10 of my life. And that was going to see Taylor Swift. Now, anyone who knows me knows that I do love T-Swivel. And I never actually got tickets to go see Taylor Swift. Myself and a friend, we tried for every show, every release, every possibility we could try, and we literally got no tickets. And I'm sure there's people out there who understand my pain, because lots of people didn't get tickets. It sold out, like, and the sites crashed and everything. So I was like miserable about it, but I was trying to block it out of my brain. I was like, and I think that was like December last year, and the show was in March. The show was in February. So I was trying to block it out of my brain, being like, no, it's fine. I'm not going to Taylor Swift. It's all right. It'd be really bad. I don't want to go anyway. It's fine. But then one day at the gym, one of the girls was talking about how someone wasn't going in their group who was going. And then she sort of just looked at me and she was like, Liv, do you want the ticket? And I was like, ah! I think I screamed louder than that. And I was like, yes, I really want a ticket. And she's like, oh, we're going to Melbourne. I was like, oh, I don't give a shit. We're going to Taylor Swift. So I took the ticket, we went to Melbourne, and we honestly had the funnest weekend in Melbourne. I went with girls who have been at the gym for a really long time. I actually went to school with them, but like they were a year older than me at school. So I've known them for a really long time. So they're definitely friends, not just clients from the gym. But like we hadn't all gone away like on an interstate trip together. So I was like, oh, you know, you never know how you're going to be when like you're going away with people who you don't go away with all the time. We honestly had the best trip. Like everyone was so chill. We like spent a whole day just shopping around Melbourne. We went out for like cocktails one night and a yummy dinner. We went to T-Swivel. We had yummy food. Like we just like lived the best 48 hours in Melbourne. I had to fly home really early after Taylor Swift. Like Taylor Swift got home at like 11 or 12, 11 p.m., 12 a.m. and I just 6 a.m. fly. But like, I did not give two shits. I was like, I'm here for the vibes. The Taylor Swift concert was so good. We were so close to the stage. We were on the floor. We were only B reserve, I think. But like, we just had the best spot. Like we were right at the end of like the runway, but like only one group from the stage. So like we were so bloody close. Like my videos are so clear. Anyway, so much fun. It was literally so much fun. Anyway, I feel like I've just talked about Taylor Swift for so long. Anyway, that was fun. Number 8, Emma's graduation. So my beautiful sister Emma graduated in nuclear medicine, radiography or whatever the degree is. A Bachelor of Nuclear Medicine, I think, is the degree. So, which was like, so proud of her. I know there's so many people finish uni, and you know, she's not special or she's not stupid. So I was like, oh my God, she's so stupid. I can't believe she graduated. She's actually really smart, but I feel like, much like myself, we had no idea what we wanted to do. And she also, much like I did, sort of jumped around a few degrees, and, you know, I jumped around and then left the place. So I never quite got there, but like, she's the first person in like our immediate family to graduate uni, like mum and dad or any of our grandparents didn't go to uni. My auntie and uncle did, my dad's sister and my mum's brother, so they went to uni, but no one else, like in our family, really, even a lot of my cousins, like we're not really uni people, to be frank. So it was just such a huge bloody achievement, and I was so bloody proud of her. So she's working away as a big adult does already, but I got to go to her graduation, and it was so nice, and mum was crying, and we had all the tears, and it was beautiful. So that was a big win for the year, so very, very proud of her. Number 9, I just put my own health and fitness journey. I feel like like I said, I've had a pretty hectic year, and I think that it's easy when you're busy, and, you know, I hear this all the time with clients and I understand. I mean, I empathize, but when you're busy, life's a bit frantic, you know, like I said, I lost someone really close to me this year. I've had lots of stresses with work. You know, I've been planning a wedding. So many things in the end could have caused me to be like, oh, my own health and fitness journey is going in the back burner, but it hasn't. I had two pretty decent injuries this year. I herniated a disc back in October last year in my back, and then I did something to my knee in like, I can't remember, it was like April this year. I just thought I'd sign up to Saturday netball, also sign up to A grade, and I was like, I can do it. Actually, was really fun. Like, I actually had so much fun. I played 3 games and I fucked my knee. We thought it was my ACL, but potentially it was a stress fracture. But we sort of stopped investigating, and I just sort of did what Nathan told me to do, pretty much. But they were two, and they were, when I did my knee, my back still wasn't perfect. So like I was sort of, even if you like could do some exercises, you know, like I could do like RDLs because of from my knee. I was like, oh well, I can RDL and, you know, use my hemis and stuff. But then I couldn't quite, because my back would do things. I could do seated exercises like leg extension for my legs, but then my knee couldn't quite take the load for a while. So it was like lots of playing around with things to sort of do 2 different rehab processes at once. And I would say I'm pretty much 100%. The past 2 months, I've gone back to training at like 95%. I have to be very sensible and understand where my limit is, but like I'm back doing all movement patterns, even like conventional deadlifts, which was something I was, much like everyone, you get a little bit nervous about, back doing that. But there's also like random things that like wouldn't feel good, like doing pull-ups randomly wouldn't feel good on my back just because I'd get a bit sloppy with it. My knee was hurting doing random things like walking lunges. I could do like a stationary lunge, I couldn't walk, but I could deep squat, like random shit. But I'm back doing everything. So that was like win, win, win. Yay, party. But also to know that sometimes you have to take time and you have to do the annoying rehab, which I did do. But also I've committed to my deficit that I've been doing this year. I set a plan of attack to do my wedge shred, which I always thought I was going to get a coach for my wedge shred. I thought when I did my body wing show, I had a coach, which was great. I do think sometimes coaches need coaches for accountability, just someone to have your back, someone to just tell you what to do so you just do it. Even if you know what to do, sometimes your mind plays tricks on you a little bit and, you know, you talk yourself out of it, or you think you need to be more of a deficit, or you change all the things, where sometimes you just need someone to tell you what to do. So I do see lots of benefit in coaches having coaches. In saying that, I did know I could do it myself. And I did know that I needed to just really just believe in myself, I guess. So, yeah, like I said, I always thought I was going to have a coach at this phase of my year leading into my wedding, but I've bloody done it myself. I've lost a good few kg and a fair bit of body fat. Like I said, training's been good. I've been doing all the things. We've still got 3 months to the wedding, and like, to be fair, I'm feeling quite good at the moment. I actually, like, if I walked down the aisle today, I wouldn't be mad about how I look. So I do feel quite happy within myself, but I am going to do a bit of a push for the month of January. And then up until my hens, which is the beginning of Feb. And then sort of I'll probably just jump slightly back up to probably where I am right now up until the wedding, just because there's lots of things happening over those weeks from the hens. Just so I'm still in a deficit, but I'm just sort of a little bit of an easier phase. But big pat on my back for committing to that. And my 10th one, which is a bit of a sentimental one, but I guess something that's been like special to me or a highlight of the year, is that a reminder that family is literally everything in your life. You know, or your loved ones, or whoever you classify as your family to you. Because like I said, and I've mentioned heaps of times, but we did lose my nan this year, and lots of things happened around that time. Like, you know, watching my mum being like the sole carer of her, and, you know, she's honestly superwoman, someone who, she was still working full time, so she'd spend like hours in the morning with Nan, she'd work full time, see her spend time with her in the arvo. She was also still training, which I'm actually very proud of her for. Something that was still for herself. Maybe she usually trains like 5 days a week. Maybe she dropped something like 3 days a week for some weeks there. But like, she was still moving her body and still, still making sure she was eating and, showing up for lots of people. Like I think it's something that I will always remember my mum for how strong she was during this period of time. But then also just us all supporting each other during this journey and realizing how close my family really is. Like the four of us, my mum, my dad, my sister, and myself, we're really like best friends. And I think, like I said before, with Christmas and people not having those sort of relationships with their families, it's made me this year really realize how important my family is. And, life is short and it's important that you spend time and, be nice to the people that you love, because it's so easy to be snappy and like, be rude. And, that's me sometimes, where I'm just like, oh, shut up, leave me alone. Or, I just need some space, which sometimes you do, but like sometimes you also need to remember how lucky you are, and I think this year has been a big year of reflection for that. The people that mean the most to you in your life sort of are there for a reason, and you should respect them for that. And the people who maybe don't show up for you when times are tough, or, maybe show you their true colours, maybe there's a reason for that, and maybe you aren't meant to be together forever. Like, not every friendship or relationship is meant to last forever. So I feel like that's been a bit of a reflection of the year. But that's a bit of a sentimental one to end on. Like, guys, it's not that deep. No, it actually is sort of deep. So maybe that's something you guys can think about, is like maybe who showed up for you this year, and who really does mean a lot to you, and do you tell them that you love them enough? Because sometimes I think we forget to, or we sort of live in our own bubble and forget about the people who mean the most to us. But that's been my year. It's been a really good year, but it's also been a really tough year this year. Like I said, lots of stressful things this year. I think life is hard. I think life is really expensive at the moment, which has been hard for people who have just, like, it's our first full year of having a mortgage. Obviously, we run a business, planning a wedding, like, shit's not always easy. No matter how good it always seems, you've got to remember that life is hard and it throws you challenges and you've got to overcome them. But, like, very grateful this year for lots of things, and I'm very excited for next year. I also started this podcast, which didn't end up in my 10-point wrap, but that's also been something I've wanted to do for ages. And I appreciate everyone who's listened to an episode, or if you're listening now, or you're going to listen one day, or whatever, because this is something that's been a little bit out of my comfort zone. And, I don't think a lot of people care about me sitting here raving on, but I also think I enjoy listening to people sit and rave on. If I can bring like one person, two people enjoyment listening to this, whether it's just literally my mother and my best friends listening to this, who I know they do listen to this episode and they listen to all of them. They're probably watching me do this. Even if it's just chatting to them through the microphone, it's something that I've enjoyed doing, giving me a bit of a creative outlet. So yeah, the year's over. What a wild, wild wind of a year. But I hope that there's been something positive in your life this year. Like I said, it has been a tough year for a lot of people. But 2025 is a new open slate book situation. You can achieve anything you want to achieve this year, guys. Like, set your mind to it, create a goal, create a plan of action, and then get in and bloody work hard, because the world is your oyster. It's what I truly believe, that if you want to do it, you'll make it happen. And if you don't want to do it, it won't happen. So make sure it's something you bloody want to do, people. Anyway, I shall leave you with my sentimental notes. Have a beautiful New Year's Eve. Stay safe, and let's bring in the new year on high vibes. I'll be dancing the night away with my friends, and I'm so excited. And yeah, big love to you all. Mwah. Ta-ta.